What's up, y'all? DJ the Sports Blurred. I'm back. Did y'all miss me? I missed y'all. All right, so quick video today. We're going to do a week 6 wrap up, recap. But the main meat and potatoes of this video is going to be, you see the title, Urban to A&M. So yesterday, Alabama, they beat A&M 24-20. Very, very sloppy game, but that's a game that Jimbo Fisher absolutely has to win. Think about this. After 50 games at Texas A&M, his record is 35-15. Kevin Sumlin, who was fired before for Jimbo Fisher, was 36-14. So he has a worse record than the guy he has followed. He's had some really good recruiting class. He always gets a top recruiting class, but there's always an excuse as to why he has not produced like A&M has paid him to produce. A&M gave him a 10-year, $95 million contract, fully guaranteed. He has not been worth that contract. He is not even close to lived up to that contract. Last year, he kind of got an excuse. His quarterback, Haynes King, he had a season-ending injury that he suffered in week 2. And because of that, they lost 4 conference games. Jimbo Fisher got a week pass. And that was one of the scapegoats as to why, he didn't do so well. Sorry, I'm shaking my camera a little bit there. Alabama's having a down year, no doubt about it. And not only are they having a down year, I think they're at the end of their run. They were just winning championships. They were dominant. They were blowing teams out. And I think that the end has come for Alabama. I mean, they're still going to be very good. They're still well coached. They're still at the top of their game. They're still better than 99% of the teams that are out there. However, as you've seen them in recent weeks and recent seasons, they can be had. Their teams aren't afraid to play with them anymore. And as a result, if you're in the SEC, now you're thinking, okay, well, maybe I have a shot. Maybe it's my turn to be dominant. You have everything in place at Texas A&M. You have the facilities. You have the money. You have the players, but you don't have the coaching. And that's where a guy like Urban Meyer comes into play here. Now, the buyout for Jimbo Fisher's contract is relatively large. It's about $75 million $75 million for a buyout. However, you will take that buyout if it means you can get a guy who can put you over the top. Urban Meyer's going to put anybody over the top. Now, Urban Meyer does come with a checker past. He completely destroyed Florida's program. They have not been the same since he left. He had a lot of allegations. I'm an Ohio State fan, you see right here, right? He had a lot of allegations, including knowingly having a coach who had, domestic violence past, and he was openly, abusing, allegedly, his wife kept him on staff. So, he has a checkered past, but he always keeps getting jobs. I mean, if you look on Fox Sports, he's one of the hosts for Noon Kickoff. So despite all that, people still like to have him. You saw what he did when he was in Jacksonville. He flew back, by himself, had some activities with a female who wasn't his wife inside of his restaurant. That got leaked to the internet, and he was unceremoniously fired later that year. So even with all that being said, I'm almost going to guarantee that A&M would go out on a limb and hire him if he was available. And I think that he will be available. I just think it's a matter of time. Time heals all wounds. You'll make everybody forget about any transgression that you've ever had if enough time passes. So let's get to the game just a little bit. So Jalen Milroe, he was the freshman quarterback out of Katy, Texas. He played okay. To ask a freshman to be put into that situation, he did what he needed to do, right? He was 12 of 19, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. That guy's yoked, by the way. I don't know if you guys were looking at him. I was looking at him, watching TV last night, and he does not look like a freshman. He has the body of a Greek god, man. He's huge. He's very compact, and he's really good at running. He had 17 carries for 83 yards. So a lot of times when things broke down, where Bryce Young would have probably stepped up in the pocket and made a play, he actually just ran. And sometimes, when you have a young guy like that, you can't actually blame them for doing that because they're used to that. I saw an interesting quote from Nick Saban after the game. Bryce Young actually offered to go into the game in the fourth quarter when things got a little tight. Bryce Young offered to go into the game, Bryce Young is a hell of a leader, man. A hell of a leader. I have the utmost respect for that guy. And if it wasn't for him, Alabama would probably be a 2-3 loss team this year. All right, we're going to go into the next game. Georgia, they roll Auburn. It really wasn't much to talk about. 42-10. Georgia looked good again. They've had some subpar games and back-to-back weeks. Barely getting past Kansas State, barely getting past Missouri. They came out, looked really good this week. Ohio State. Now, this is the number one team in my opinion, my humble opinion. They are still looking dominant. They went on the road to East Lansing. They played a Michigan State team who had a lot of expectations coming into this game. I mean, not necessarily this game, this season. They have a brand new coach. They gave him a heck of a contract. He had a pretty decent recruiting class coming in. They were building off some of the success from last year. And for whatever reason, they just have not lived up to expectations. They got smoked by the Buckeyes yesterday, 49-20. C.J. Stroud, he has to be in your Heisman, at least top 3 leaders this year. 21-26, 361 yards, 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns, and then 1 INT. Played very well. It's hard to play much better than what he played. He's playing so well, and Ohio State as a team is playing so well that they're making Big Ten competition. Now, granted, the Big Ten's not that great. You heard it first from an Ohio State fan. I'll always tell you the truth. Big Ten's not that great, but they're making Big Ten teams look like Abilene Christian. They're making them look like Kent State. These really, really just small schools. So Travion Henderson came in, 19 carries, 181 yards, 1 touchdown. Now, he came in, he was hurt. He didn't play last week. Mayan Williams was a dog versus Wisconsin. Travion Henderson comes in, does very well, takes himself out. He has an off week coming in, a bye week coming in next week, so he really is a guy that's banged up, needs to get some attention. Emeka Ejugba, 5 receptions, 143 yards, 1 touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr., another solid outing, 7 receptions, 131 yards, 3 touchdowns. Julian Fleming, 4 catches, 81 yards, and also a touchdown. Now, this is one of the reasons why I think Ohio State is so dominant and they're the number one team in the nation is their depth. Don't forget that C.J. Stroud has been playing without his number one receiver, maybe even the best playmaker in the nation, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Those two were like Tupac and Puffy and Biggie. They were 1 and 2. They were a heck of a team when you put them together, and they haven't played with each other this year. So look at what they're doing. Their first string wide receiver, running back, he's out. Mayan Williams steps in. Their number one wide receiver's out. Marvin Harrison Jr. steps in. So when they do get these pieces back and everybody is running 100%, this is going to be a scary team. They're already scary. One of the words that I've been using for Ohio State this entire season, I've been looking for them to be dominant, and they absolutely have. Let's roll to Michigan. Michigan had a really good performance yesterday, man. They beat a good Indiana team, 31-20 or 31-10. I can't talk today, y'all. I'm sorry. Looked really good. Very solid, very balanced team. Not a ton to say there. Again, I'm really looking forward to the end of the season. If they can keep up the play and the performance, they're going to give Ohio State all they want. Let's move on. Clemson, they won 31-3. Versus Boston College. I was looking for a couple things from Clemson. I wanted their defense to kind of rebound. They have. And the defense this year for Clemson has kind of been a roller coaster. They came out in those last few games and they've been absolutely money. DJ Uiagalelei, I know I mispronounce his name every time I say it. I'm sorry to him and his family. He just keeps rolling again, looking like a number one pick potentially. So USC, they pull away late. They beat Washington State late, 30-14. This was a game that was kind of competitive with those first couple of quarters. Washington State's a very decent team. If you haven't seen them play, I know a lot of times you might think, oh, it's just Washington State. Not a lot to see here. Washington State's a very competitive team. They have a very decent quarterback, and he kept them in the game. So top 5, there we go. Just kind of want to give a little week 5 wrap up. I'm going to be doing a couple of other videos this week, dropping some. Hopefully you'll like it. If if you're still here, please shoot me a comment. Tell me where I'm right. Tell me where I'm wrong. Subscribe. Oh yeah, there's another there's another game I wanted to get into, but I didn't have the time. It was a Red River rivalry, right? Oh yeah, what are you guys doing? What are we doing? Right? You guys did not. This is the worst loss ever in Red River rivalry history. I told you guys, Oklahoma fans, and I hate to be this petty. I told you guys were going to be terrible this year. Maybe not terrible, but I told you guys were going to be bad this year, right? And you guys told me how dumb I was. You guys told me I was going to be wrong. Told me you guys were OU, Boomer Sooner, all that garbage, right? And now look at you. This is where you guys are in your program. Terrible, absolutely terrible, absolutely terrible. So I'm gonna be doing a video about them later on. But before I get out of here, again, if you're still here, please like the video, comment, subscribe, all that. I'm gonna give you a top 5. This is my top 5. My top 5 are always going to be fluid. Week to week, they might differ. I might have the number 1 team here, and then next week they might be the number 3 team. So OSU, Georgia, Michigan, Bama, Clemson. Top 5 right there. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. DJ's out.